What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++ blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today we're going to continue with our cards. We made some really good progress about getting duration-based effects working. We have some stuff with our IM GUI. But I want to start working and integrating the card resource loop into executing these cards and their costs and stuff like that. And so, with that, we're going to have to create some new data into our data asset for our cards, because we have things like card info and card ability set. And inside the card ability set, I have already this duration and so the duration effect and the minimum threshold for applying the duration on the gameplay ability when applicable. But now I need to figure out how best to kind of make, cost with it. So, there's not going to be a cost on the ability side of things, but there's going to be a cost on the side of actually executing the card. So I think, in all honesty, I know because the card has a duration effect and stuff, I know that's why it exists in the ability set. But, to me, maybe the ability set should be purely the ability set. So abilities, effects, and attributes, and then things like the duration should exist within the card info. So I'm thinking about when I do the execute the card resource cost, I should also do the duration moved into the same thing. And with the cost, I need to figure out how to also best handle this cost, because the cost needs to be calculated based off other resources. So you actually you have the resource itself, like how much the player has, but the cost itself can be modified, and I've got to figure out how to display that modification to the player. So for example, if a card by default costs one resource, right? But say the player has a debuff on them that makes the cost of cards double, right? So how do I do that sort of calculation? I think I know. It's similar to how we would do the damage type. Not damage type, but you know what I mean, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's resistances, right? So it might be similar to the implementation for resistances. But let's just start with getting the data in. I think that's the first thing. So we have to get into the ability set. We're gonna have to do a quick refactor of things again, but this is the time to do it before we start generating a shit ton of cards. So let's go to base card ability set. So inside of the ability set, I don't think we're explicitly passing in things we're passing in card level when we do something like activate card. But we're not really passing in these duration based things, because eventually we get to the point where we need to load that stuff in, right? We need to pass that data along. But yeah, we're doing it manually with card level here, and then we eventually get down to here, right? And we have card duration properties in which they already live on the ability set, so that's why it makes this a little easier. And maybe it's okay that the duration stuff lives on the ability set. But the cost itself, since there's no real connection to abilities, because it's not, again, ability cost, it's cost of activating and slotting it in. Once it's slotted in, you can just activate it, unless maybe we can create some sort of cool mechanics where enemies can use cards that kind of prevent you from activating. activating cards, like activating abilities slotted in. Maybe there's some mechanics or some cards enemies can play that just wipe out those slots, so like you have to like reslot them in or something like that. So just trying to think out loud what we should do. Because yeah, we also have card data asset, right? And this has like card data, and yeah, deck data lives in here, and then we have F card info, which is then this stuff, right? So then, you know, is it worth having a card cost parameter? And how should that look like? Should it be... So again, it will be influenced by card level. But then, yeah, like, again, how do we kind of evaluate that value to display onto the card, I wonder? Because by the time we get to the card UI, I should say, like, let's just look at the card, right? And then eventually we are going to have to execute a, yeah, because we do have card level, so we could potentially have it within this like card info. We could have like a cost scalable float. And then we would just kind of do our multipliers here to display it. And then when we activate the card, you know, we do the gameplay effect and we apply it and we remove it. So let's try having it in card info, just to have it there. So U property, pretty much everything like that. We don't need the autocorrect for that is kind of crazy. So F scalable float. I say card cost. Would be enough. And then we would just need to have a new data table for card costs. But yeah, let's see. Maybe overthinking things, but that's usually how we roll. So let's compile that and we'll see where we land. So now if we reopen our data assets, we should see what we just added. In the meantime, let me charge my phone as well. So yeah, maybe there could be some modification. Like, so there has to be some visual way to be able to say, hey, you know, the original value is being modified, you know? So yeah, card cost, curve table. So we have ability cost, right? So let's go and, so card table. So we're going to duplicate this CT underscore card costs. And I want the cost to also kind of work with card level, right? So we're gonna say, let's just delete all of this stuff. You always get an insurer when we do that, but it sucks that you can't just delete key these things. So we're gonna say card cost dot invasive dot all as an example, and we're gonna say, you know, at level 1 we could say it costs 2, level 2. Basically, maybe it'll cost the same up until like the last like 2 levels. for example. We can do card, costs, select curve, this one, and yeah, there you go. So we have some data in here. And then in theory, I should be able to, and I probably would want to, I don't really think I need to make, maybe I can make a blueprint helper function or something, but like a blueprint library. Probably could make it in code, but probably easier if I just do it in blueprint, right? So I don't think I have anything like that. Right? Do I have a library? No. So gameplay, function libraries. We'll make a new one. So blueprint class, function library. Option. Blueprint function library. Is there really not a way to do that? Oh, it's probably an explicit thing, right? Blueprint and then function library, right? So pp underscore card blueprint library as an example, right? Get current card cost, and we want to pass in card info. In card info, pass by reference. Then we can say break. And then we could say value, or is it? Forget the word. Get value at level. You can also ask for, it's an integer probably, in card level. Something to that effect. And then this is where I would need to also get a reference to the ability system component. I mean, in all honesty, like maybe it's easier if I just get the card instance. One less parameter, a bunch of less parameters, right? Can I say card instance? In card instance. And then this one is in C. Okay. Like this. Local variable. Card level. What's the best way to handle this? Because yeah, we async load the object. We can't really do that here. Asset manager, set ID, can break this. And I make a local variable of our data asset. Find out. Man, is it easy to build a game if someone is a complete noob? Probably not. But it depends on the scope of the game and what you want to make. Because if you want to make a really big game, then yeah, it's going to be hard as fuck. But yeah, if you want to make a rather simple game, simple mechanics, then you know, it's like any other game engine at that point. wonder if I can get away with this. What am I getting? Resource cost, right? I guess I could just do integer. Out hard cost. As well on this ability system component. How has your experience been so far? I mean, it's been good. I've been learning Unreal for over a decade at this point, starting at the UDK days. So, you know, over time, it's been easier times than others. But, you know, now at this point, I'm at a pretty mid-comfortable stage. You know, I'm familiar with the ability system component and blueprints overall. C++ I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with. State trees I'm getting more comfortable with. Just generally just working with the engine. So that hasn't been too bad overall. But for a complete noob, I mean, there's a lot more resources out there for you to learn from. So hopefully that makes the path easier. But yeah, it's hard to tell at this point, right? Let's just put a Boolean as well. Also, like log error, right? I forget the word. Is it error? Oops. Add test error. Sometimes I forget the syntax to some of this stuff. Print text, print error, print warning. Now we'll leave it as is. Now we should be able to say break, not break, but get card info. Oh, get card data, I should say. And we should be able to break this. We get card info. We can then split this. And then we got this, right? And so we should be able to read it like that. And then from the ability system component, get in ESC, should be able to get attribute. Now there should be, is it like card resource? I don't think there is any sort of modifier to the general costs of things. That's probably something we're going to have to add. So let's get into code and add it. So let's go into our attribute sets, card resource, and then we just gotta do a couple things. So let's grab, so this curtain card energy XP, this stuff might be redundant at this point. So there's active card energy multiplier. I wish I put comments on this stuff. I don't remember what this really is. So active card energy, and also the category is not great. So, for the sake of having something bespoke, let's just add something. So we'll say card energy cost multiplier. Well, I mean, because we call it resource, right? And we have card energy. So card energy cost multiplier. Oh. Now we should be able to then, yeah, we gotta just clamp this. Get card multiplier. Clamp it to between 0 and, I don't know, 5. But I don't know if we'll ever want cards that cost like 5 times as much. That seems a little ridiculous. But never too safe there. So everything else I think is fine. Let's recompile that bad boy and continue. And then we can just use this as a multiplier inside of that helper function. And hopefully we will see about how well that will look. Because at the same time, inside the card hand template, we would have to be listening for these attribute changes, or at least that one attribute change, so that we can at runtime just update the card values. And then we would just have to then create a an instant gameplay effect that will then be applied when we activate a card or try to activate the card. So let's do card resource, card energy cost multiplier, multiply. Should be able to just do something like this. Truncate, pass that along as well. Well, this should be able to be 4. We'll see if it yells at me. Now inside card template, should be able to, because we also have where we're displaying card energy, card resource value. We should be able to set that text as well. So let's make a custom event. So update card resource value text. Now we do set text. Should be able to call the helper function get card. We get current card cost. So we have the card instance, but we don't have a reference to our ability system component. I don't think we have a reference to the ability system component. So we have an instantiate card data, and then we also have card control. So let's just do it here. So get player pawn, or I should say get player. Can I get player state from here easily? No. Get owning player. Get player state. Let's just instantiate that as well. We got player state. Then it's valid. I guess what we should first cast to gas player state. This, do this. Then we can get ability system component. Spell. Seems fine, and then we could just do struct. And then we could just do a check here as well. It's like, again, I feel like there is a like log warning or like error. I feel like I'm on crazy pills. Must be misremembering what that one's called. We could just do this valid. Well, we'll move some of this to code eventually. Got there. Boom, boom, boom. Loading stuff. Let's move some stuff out of the way. We get all the way here. Then I can call update card resource value text. And we can just branch. Component. Now I am technically calling this function twice. Now, also, guessing when we load it, we should be waiting, but I guess we technically could do it up here. What we do? Wait attribute. So just wait attribute changed. Target actor. So we can do what? Player state, and then get player. Hit on. Attribute card. Energy cost multiplier. I don't want to trigger just once. In theory, I should just be able to pass that along like that. And then attribute new value, value doesn't really matter. We just want to care if it's changed, so we could do update card resource value text, and this should call it again and then display the right value. I hope. We're going to see if this works. So again, we're in our card data here. So the cost should say 2. So let's just see if we play. All right, it says 3. But it's at the card level. Hold on. This could be working. Let's go into our... Because, wait, the card level is in there, right? So, player state. Not player state. Well, actually, yeah, player state. Deck. Yeah, we're at level 4, which means it is actually a value of 3. So that seems to work. So now we have to kind of work that against how much resource we have. Because, you know, we still can play the card right now, even if we don't have the resources for it. But let's see if this will correctly reflect when we update the attributes. So let's go into our player, card resource, so card energy cost multiplier. So if we make this 2. Oh wait, wrong one. We make this 2. So now you see the cost is now 6. If we make it 0.5, it is 1.1. Yeah, so we don't really want to truncate. I guess technically we want to truncate, but we want to get min value between that and no. How do I want this to work? Because I never want it to be 0, right? So I want to get max value, I guess. Yeah, max that 1. So that should hopefully reflect correctly. So gameplay attributes, card attributes, energy cost multiplier. If I make this 0.1, yeah, so now the cost is 0.1. Or just 1. So if I make this 2, we get to 6, make it 3, 5. Obviously we clamp it to 5. So it can never cost more than 15. Which, you know, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think that'll ever happen. I would say, like, I don't know if I want to introduce like an additive version as well as as a multiplier. Because then, you know, it would be interesting as well to say, Like, it would be interesting if there was like a passive or something, like another card you could activate that says, okay, all cards cost are this value, right? So how do we set that value and make sure that it's read correctly? You know what I mean? I guess we would have to introduce like a tag for it. Let's do an additive as well. And yeah, an additive I think can be plus or minus. So let's make sure we evaluate that accordingly. Let's say negative 10, positive 10. Put that in 2 places. I don't think so. And then let's do override. So new property. I guess we can just copy this. Card energy cost override. And yes, we'll have it work the same as additive in terms of well, it'll be between 0 and 5, I suppose. So it'll be more like maybe multiplier. And we'll do get card energy cost override attribute 0 to 5. So let's do that, and at the same time, let's go into our native tags. We'll go into the .h of the native tags. So an ability system component, native tags. So their status. I guess it would be status. So we declare gameplay tag extern. And we'll call it status underscore coordinate. Yeah, okay. the autocorrect is doing me a big favor at that point. So let's do, so we have status, so we'll do it as comment, right? So let's grab that. And then let's grab the right name. So status dot card dot cost override. And it'll say when applied, card cost will equal value set to attributes here. That seems okay. So we're gonna have to also wait for gameplay tag to be added and removed from the player, so we can, apply that cost and everything. Same thing with additive as an attribute. We'll have to include a bunch of stuff within this blueprint function library function to let it become flexible. Then I think we can simply make a single gameplay effect that has a set by caller. And we have an execution class, or it could just be a mod magnifier class. Probably an execution class might make our lives a little easier. And trying to think what would make sense. Like if you, say for example, there's two, like for whatever reason, there's like a modifier, right? Like say there's a enemy debuff on you saying, okay, cards are now double cost, right? So your card cost goes from 2 to 4. But then say you have an additive buff that says, okay, card cost is subtracted by 1. I feel like it would be better if in that case the additive would be better if it came before the multiplier. Because then, you know, a 2 multiplied by, so your card cost doubled at 2 would be 4, but at 1 it would be 2. But say you got like double debuffed, where it's like, okay, your card cost is now +1 and also doubled. So your card would then either go from 5 or to 6. So maybe it's like a double-edged sword of like, okay, we'll do the additive first and then the multiplier. And then in some cases it's more beneficial to you. In other cases it's like worse. Maybe that will be interesting. I don't know. Let's see. So let's go to our function library. So what we're going to do, we're going to get this value. We're going to get another attribute value. We're going to say card cost additive. We're going to say plus. Let's just make this as a giant and. That. Oh, no. Then we need to get that. We can get owner, right? I could just say has tags, I think. Has tag. So cost override. We can say what? Let's get the override here. Spell. And say select. So if we have this override, we just pass in that value. Otherwise, we pass that value, and we just pass it along like that. Kind of messy. I think it makes sense. So what we gotta do now is in the card template, we need to, again, listen to another attribute changed. Additive. Big card. I don't know why I have a second R in here. Again. Override. Yeah, this is something that can easily be moved into code. Do a loop on, attributes to listen for, kind of thing. Maybe we'll do that on Tuesday, migrate some of this to C++. For now, it's fine as is. So override, override, update value. And then we do one more, and we say wait gameplay tag count changed on actor. And we'll do override. Ideally, this will never really change. We could just say whenever it's changed, just do that. Let's compile that. And let's see in game. So, we have a cost of 4, right? So now if we open up our attributes and we say, okay, card cost additive, we can make it -1. So already additive seems right. Because we have a -1 on. No, it seems wrong. So our normal card cost is 4. So we should get 3 there. So what we have to see, let's put a breakpoint in, I guess our function library, right? Then attributes, let's do add, so additive -1. Oh. We get to here, right? So boom, 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 boom. So card level is 4. Info card cost. For card cost at level 1. Okay, so additive by default should be 0. We're saying it's 1 by default, so it's adding 1 immediately. So that's where the confusion is coming from. So 0 and current cost override, we can leave it. Yes, 1. That should hopefully fix that part of the problem. And it'll be hard to track, like, you know, if you happen to have a bunch of passives and debuffs on you, like kind of understanding where that calculation's kind of coming from. I don't know how we can visualize that potentially on the card. Maybe there's some like animation playing or some VFX playing on the card that shows that it's like more costly or something and why. But a problem for a different day. So yeah, let's see if now, let's get off this breakpoint. Let's see if we have the right values here. So yeah, we have a value of 3 by default, which is correct. Wrong one. Gameplay attributes. Bam. Card resources and say additive, right? So I'm gonna, let's, if I make it a 1, then it's 4, make it -1, now it's 2. Make it back to 0, it's back to 3. And then card energy cost, if I make this 2, we get 6. If I make it 1, we get 4. No. Let's make it 1 again. So if I make this -1 and make this 2, yes. If I make this 1 again, it's 4. Which is, yes, that makes sense. Because we're going from 3 to 4. Yeah, okay, my bad. And then we have an override, but that isn't being applied because we don't have the tag. I'm not sure where that should go. This empty card, evasive fireball, doesn't have anything in there, but yeah. It's weird, but fine. So I have these cards, level 1. Well, we have a level 1 card, it's cost 2. And now if we do these multipliers again, -1, -2. Yeah, so it doesn't ever make it. I guess technically we do want it to have the possibility of being 0. So we could just make the max that. But we could, in theory, say, okay, for costs -3. But yeah, I can't go to -4. We can make it +4, 0, back 3. I think that's right. So now we need to make a gameplay effect. Should be kind of like damage-ish. We have damage execution base, GE damage base. And we will just have to make a very similar setup, I suppose. And we have to do a set by color magnitude. Excuse me. And some of the attributes that we want to capture. Oh, where do we have? So we have systems, so we have cards. Yeah, I could another gameplay effect because there's card energy execution class. So I'll probably do something very similar to this. So we'll make a new effect GE underscore card cost base. And yeah, I'll want to again this tag native. I think I have a couple of data, right? Yeah. So data underscore card cost, I think is reasonable. And then we have a data section somewhere here, right? And say data dot card then we'll say use to inform card cost execution class of the base cost of the activated card. Reasonable. Let's compile that. Got Kitty in the basket. I don't know how well you're seeing her. She's a cutie. And then what we need to do as well is when we attempt to activate a card, we would have to do a check against it to say, hey, I can afford. If it can afford it, okay. Execute it, activate it, it's fine. If you can't, you have to put some animation, some sort of feedback to the player. Maybe the card, it can be like a little transparent if it can't be activated, or have some sort of border around it indicating that it can't be activated. So let us go back here. We have cards, we have card cost. Now, yeah, it's going to be an instant effect. It's going to be having a modifier. It's going to be a set by caller. Data tag. It's going to be card cost. Data cost. And then we need a new execution. So we're gonna have to do that in C++. So where is our effect? There's damage, then there's MMC, there is ability cost. So probably something very similar, but let's do execution class. So there's damage. Is it typing? I don't remember where I have my execution classes now. data, deck data, develop settings, attributes. Boom, 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 boom. I would assume it's in. Like, yeah, there's healing, and then there's damage. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it. It's right there. So probably card energy. There's card energy execution class like this, right? So can I add Unreal class? What's the parent class of this thing? Whoops. So it's this. So let's grab that. So Unreal class, and we'll call it gas course card energy cost execution. And all classes of this type, yes, okay. So yeah, that's fine, but then we're gonna have to move the header. Systems, card energy, there. Yes, got to. That. System, games, systems, card energy cost exit. Now let's split right. So this is card energy cost execution, which we want. This is cost here. So let's just do bit by bit. So generated body, yeah. Okay, so we should be able to just kind of copy this. So put it into the public space. That, and then so the instructor, so you gas course card energy. Cool, so you're done. Let's close that and that. I think we need a bunch of anything left open except for the execution class. So now, of course, we could generate documentation. Why not? And then we get to the nitty gritty. So let's type all this out, because why not? It's more or less going to be a almost one-to-one copy. More, we're going to have to change things, obviously, but let's just do this. So gas core energy core statics makes sense. Bam. So declare attribute capture def, and we're going to say there's incoming card energy XP, but like I want to read in some of this stuff. Bunch of inline crap here, but should be able to capture that value. I guess that has to be kind of like a, what's it called? It's like damage, but cost. It has a certain name. I'm blanking on the name. Some sort of attribute. So yeah, let's add that to our attribute. I don't know why I'm blanking on that name, but it is what it is. So it's got to be in the header attributes. We'll say incoming card energy cost. We'll just say 0. Default, bam. we could say incoming cost player def. We'll say multiplier. Yeah, and then so what are this here? So we have card energy cost override and then additive. Let's see. Statics. Could all be good. Let's actually look at damage. It'd be much simpler than that. We can take a lot from it. So after we define that, do some static const that should be okay. Then relevant attributes to capture. Attributes to capture dot add. Say that, and then a bunch of times over like that, and then we're good. And now can generate this. Okay. So a bunch of stuff that we can kind of grab, right? So that. Include, all good. So now we can do something like this, right? So we're gonna have to include the native tags, like if it's not already included, right? I don't know why cook info is in that, but okay. Now let's grab tags. Now I should be able to say status underscore cost card energy cost override. We could say I need to first capture these things. So like also do this stuff first. So yeah, this. So I'm gonna say float, and we'll say float the current card cost override. Say statics dot card override def them to this, and then say, I guess in theory we should just be able to return that value. Just check. And I don't know, I guess maybe I would need to put some information into something at some point. I might want to track the stuff similar to damage. But we eventually get to a point where we say this. So that should be okay. And then from here we can say float modified. Now here I can say so base card cost equals 0. Yeah, eventually we get to these things where we get the base value and we get the incoming value, right? So I should be able to say something very similar. Close, so I'll just tap it to enter, but I need to just say card. Right. Always going to be 0. And then I should be able to say, so float modified card cost equals something like that, except it's the other way. That and then kind of like that. Yeah. But yeah, this one's not additive. It's going to be override. Should be okay. So now, I think that works. But what we would need to do again is in the attribute set. Card resource attribute set, we would have to say post gameplay effect execute. So we would have to just have a new if. So we would say if data.evaluated data.attribute equals get incoming card attribute. Then we would say set current card energy not really that. Just say pretty much like that, right? So similarly how I do in the incoming thing here Yeah, they also do a local thing, so I'll need to do something similar, I think. So constant local incoming card cost equals get incoming card cost, and set incoming 0, and then I would say that's valid. Let's see if that even compiles. Okay. Not bad. So now we should be able to go into that gameplay effect. And we should be able to add that execution class. So card cost base, and we'll say incoming energy cost. We'll say add, sure. And yeah, set by caller, card base, executions. Should be able to just do card energy cost execution. Theory. Oh, we could just put a breakpoint here. Let me look at the damage one again, because I don't recall where or if it's ever calling the super on this. Doesn't seem like it is. I don't know if that's gonna cause problems. So let's not do it, and let's just do a quick reload. But in the meanwhile, we can go into our card template. Could also, in theory, update this card cost here, promote it to a variable. We'll say out card cost. Then event activate card happens, but we're making the call from current hand. So we have update spacing, which I don't think we should do up until we start doing stuff. So let's not call that. So we got selected card, instance ID. I should probably have a helper function that just is encapsulated in there. So live coding failed. Why? Let's try again with the editor closed, and because I think in the card itself there should be just like the helper function to activate the card. So we'll just to make outgoing spec, blah blah blah. But yeah, one thing at a time. And the hope is, within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll see the cost being taken away from the UI when it gets slotted in. But what don't we need open at the moment? Because yeah, 10 assets is quite a lot. So let's take out all of these data assets and that, and the function library not needed, and the base here. All be okay. So let's make a help function to say, because I feel like this is like too much is happening in the current hand. Because yeah, we call activate card, and we activate card this thing. So we should be able, maybe. It's like at this point, if you can we have to also do the check if you can even activate card. Which probably can be done here because we call activate card, and then we get to what? Event activate card, right? So we should be able to do type outgoing. Outgoing. Can I do it with the ability system component? Make outgoing spec. Card cost. That part doesn't matter. We don't need the level. And then we could say set caller. Tag. So cost. Got out card cost. And then, yeah, this is where I would have to also add a check. Hey, check can afford. But for now, it's whatever. Comment color, just make it red. Forget. And then we could do apply gameplay spec to self, spec handle that, and then we play the animation. Obviously, we're still going to have to do some checks to make sure we can afford the thing, but it should be enough to get the breakpoint when we try to activate the card. So obviously, it costs 3 to activate. Let's just hit up on the D-pad and we activate the card. So let's get everything and hope it all makes sense, right? So let's let things load in. So boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. So far, so good. Should fail. So now base card cost should be 3. Still 0. Not seeing that. Card cost multiplier. Also 0. Okay, so this is correct. So it's 1, and then card active is still 0. So we're gonna get 0. So for whatever reason, base card cost is not correct. Unless it is. Unless there's a different way to... Let's do some experiments just to see if this does work. So by default, let me give myself a bunch of card energy. So we got 5. So we have full card energy, right? So if I were to activate this, I should have 2 left, which I do. Let's check the card attribute. Let's that. Let's get into code. Let's get to here. I am getting 3. Seems correct in theory, so let's just do one experiment. Oh, we got ourselves a bot in chat. Bye. Let's do an experiment. Let's make so card additive. We'll say 1. Card cost multiplier 8, right? So if I put this here and I activate the card, obviously in real game it shouldn't activate, but we're just gonna do it. Do I get 8? I do. Okay, so maybe this execution is all kinds of fucked up, but it seems like I'm getting the right values. In theory, it seems like everything is working. Like I would need to, eventually make something nice to like indicate when this gets activated. So when you activate, then maybe there should be like the animation kind of brings the card across the screen. Maybe the card, like eventually we'll just have to see, because I don't think we're gonna keep this UI for the card energy thing on the right hand side. Probably work a little bit like Slay Spire, have just like a single circle with the number and max number next to it, and just when you use it, it'll just like kind of shoot some particle or something to like emphasize that like it did something, right? But it seems like that loop works. So this week we'll just kind of work on I guess we'll work on 2 things, right? This week I will want to keep working on this UI, maybe clean up all the other cards, give them some base values and stuff like that, and then figure out from there the missing actions, missing data, but then start gating the card activations accordingly. Like if you can't afford the card, you shouldn't be able to activate it. Maybe nativize some of the stuff from current hand or card template into code, like all these wait for attribute changes and stuff. I could probably make an array of attributes to listen for and just do a for each loop and have it all kind of listen. So that'll be fun to do. So I think that's gonna be it for tonight. We got a good amount done within the last hour or so. So thanks for watching, much appreciated. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching from Twitch, make sure to follow. Any support is appreciated. Make sure to also join our Discord if you want to join, hang out, talk about games, make games, help each other out. Always a good place to do it. We'll be back on Tuesday most likely to pick up where we left off, and then probably Thursday at the end of the week. So hope you all have a good week coming up. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you soon.